wanted to do something very simple, which is just share some ideas that have been meaningful in my life, in my career, and hopefully that are practical and something that you can also use as tools as well. So I want this to be as participatory as possible. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to bring out your phones, and to bring out your laptops, and to bring out your notebooks, if you have them. And I'm going to ask you to do some things throughout the talk. They're very simple things, but hopefully they're tools that you can use in the future. I've certainly gotten a lot of value out of them. I wanted to start, as most things do, with a very simple but powerful idea, which was introduced to me by this man behind me whose name is William Gibson, fiction writer. And he wrote the book Neuromancer, which introduced the phrase cyberpunk, cyberspace, and effectively cyber. But he said something really, really powerful, really inspiring, which I always look to when I'm looking for confidence, when I'm looking for the next thing, which is this. The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. Just think about that for 1 minute. The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. So what that means is the future is in this room, right now. It's in every single one of your heads. And your job in the world, your job as you go out there, as you go about your day in your school, about your day in your job, is to distribute the future, to distribute your ideas, to distribute your insights into what you see. You all have unique perspectives, diverse perspectives, and the combination, the intersections of these make them better. And this sounds really good, but does it really work? I see it day after day after day. I made sure that every single person that joined our company was part of that future, was able to change the course of the company with a very simple yet powerful idea. So how do you do that? First, you have to start with a purpose. The idea for it to distribute has to have a strong sense of purpose. It has to have a strong sense of job. What is the idea's job? What is the idea's job in the world? And for that answer, we often look to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. How many of you have been over the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco? A lot of folks. Whenever you hear the word San Francisco, California, this is one of the things that people around the world think of. And what we find most amazing about this bridge is it does have one job. A bridge's job is to get people from point A to point B and not fall down. It has to stay up 100% of the time. And in a way that people would remember it, in a way that they would be proud of it. Their ancestors would be proud of it, their descendants would be proud of it. The entire city is proud of this work. And it's something that is a bridge that serves its utility extremely well, doesn't fall down. But when you cross it, you can't help but look at it. You can't help but notice every aspect of it. You can't help but notice the details. And it really takes your breath away. We want to build companies, and we want to build products and services that strive to be something like this. But it has to start with a strong mission. What I would love for you to do is write down what your mission is. What is your mission in the world? What is your job in the world? What do you want to see in the world? Take the time to write it at this point in your life, at whatever point in your life you are. We need to do that for Square. What is our mission at Square? As soon as it comes up, I'll tell you. It's to make commerce easy. Very simple, 3 words, but every word tells. We focus first on make. We want to be craftspeople. We want to be proud not only of the output of our work, but of the work itself. We want to go in excited about what we're doing every single day and why we're doing it every single day. We move on to commerce. A lot of people think of Square as a little tiny device that accepts credit cards from a mobile phone. Payments. Payments is something that's mechanical. It's something that a lot of people see as dirty, something that people don't want to deal with. It's a burden. Money, as a concept, touches every single person on this planet. And at one point in their life, they all feel bad about it. It does feel like a burden. So we decided to focus instead on commerce. The definition of commerce is the activity, the simple activity, between buyer and seller. That's it. We were actually trading goods and services as humans before we were using language to trade stories. But somewhere along the line, communication got easier and more approachable, and more people could participate, got simpler. But commerce got harder, more obtuse, more abstract, and more difficult to use. Less people can participate. So can we build a service, can we build a company that brings that back to communication, brings that back to that simplicity of just trading between buyer and seller? And finally, easy. Why? Because it's really hard. We want to constantly raise the bar of simplicity. We want to constantly raise the bar so that more and more people in the world can participate in a way that they wish, in a way that they choose. The most important thing about defining a mission for your company, for yourself, for your organization, for your school, for your team, is that it has to answer one simple, very simple to ask question, but one that's very hard to answer, which is why. Why should we make commerce easy? Why is that important to us? And if you don't have an answer to that question, it's the wrong mission. It's not going to do anything meaningful for you, and won't do anything meaningful in the world. Our answer to that question is if we make commerce easy, we're actually giving time back to people. That's the direct result of making commerce easy. We give time back to people because they don't have to think about the mechanical aspects. We also reflect a lot on outside inspirations, on what we want to see in the world and what we want to resonate with, what we want to reflect. We always turn to artists. One of my favorite artists is from here, to Frida. And she said something that I've always found to really speak to what entrepreneurship means. And entrepreneurship is an interesting word. Oftentimes it's used a little bit too much these days. Because, by being used too much, it becomes this very abstract notion. It becomes very, very hard to reach. You don't know how to start. But this really clarifies it for me. I paint my own reality. The only thing I know is that I paint because I need to, and I paint whatever passes through my head without any other consideration. You all have felt this moment of flow, this moment of creative juices flowing right through you and something else taking over, and this excitement you get when you are onto an idea and you're implementing it, and other people, it resonates with other folks, and they love it, and everyone else gets excited as well. This is what Frida's talking about. This is the thrill of why we do what we do. Just this basic emotion of feeling this electricity of creation. But what I love about this quote is the only thing I know is that I paint because I need to. We have to constantly follow our own path. We have to constantly make sure that we recognize this is what was great. We reflect. This is what was great. This is what we messed up, or our civilization messed up, and this is how it improves. And I fundamentally believe that if we have access to all information presently, that we can build a great future. And that is what's most important to me, is making sure that everyone can participate in these conversations, whether it be communication or commerce, and that everyone can move according to their own ambitions, without hindrance, without friction. If we have that, then we've actually done something really meaningful to the world. And that's something I'd be very, very proud of to be a part of. Thank you very much, Aaron.